not too much lower than you on the parallel. So
All right, we're going live.
All right.
Here we go. Welcome back to Dat Smoke Show.
Welcome
Uh,
back.
yeah, it's been a minute. Sorry about last week. I got stuck out in the bush again, and yeah, broke my 4x4 and had to get a bunch of homies to come pull me out. So wasn't making the show last week. Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Doing good for me, man. I'm having a bit of trouble lately to have enough sale on my honey and stuff like that, but we could talk about it later on. How you go tonight, Steve? You just come back in Kelly.
Just finished moving. It's nice to have an office again. Yeah, good.
Nice.
You starting work soon over there, or are you already on
Yeah,
it?
I already started. We're just updating all the paperwork and everything for the next renewal of our license, which is in like a month or two, and then working on get construction after that.
Yeah, I've seen the big aquaponic system that you're starting to build. I've not watched your latest post. If I don't know if you made another one, but the one that you have seen was the one that you had laid the tarp and was testing if it was leaking.
Yeah, I know we got that one all set up, and then moved on. That was back in Tennessee where I was living before, but yeah, got them up and running.
All right, we have Jay with us tonight. What's up, Jay?
what's up, everybody? Thank you for having me.
Just welcome. Nice to have some new people.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, I just seen the picture. Okay, yeah, man, you're saying yeah, I love that one. Fucking shit. Do you want to show those?
I can throw
Oh,
those up.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know if Wes, if you can do that. I don't remember. Do you download
Okay.
it or open it and then transfer
You
to
can just
your?
you can just open it and then hit share, but
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
let's see here. I'll go to this one first. There's them ones.
The funny part in it is that you seem to look at the small one, looking at the other one, being like, "Why are you not like your sister? What's
Actually,
wrong with you?"
so that plant that I'm looking at, that was bred by, I hope he's in the audience right now. His name was Tony. He's my brother. He taught me how to grow. He bred this purple blueberry plant, and it just was fascinating. It smelled like a glazed candy blueberry, and it had this deep purple in the buds. I never got to see it. A thief got that plant, so I never got to enjoy it.
It's funny because one of my friends back then was always kind of scared with the purple plant that he had one time. That like he go in the field, the first thing you've seen from far away before he reached that was the purple bud with the bright lime green leaf on it. He was like, it was like striking. Holy shit! It's the only thing you were seeing in the field, and I was like, so. I got a picture for him, for you, and I've seen, I've shown him the, I think it was a cookie cross, whatever the plant was all purple and holy shit. Yeah, that's a good one I've seen. Yeah, that's your big plant right there.
Yeah, those were three clones I was given. There's three of them right in a row. They grew really, really nicely. And like I said, I'm in Vermont, so my season ends about, I have to have my plants in by the end of October because here in the fall time we get a lot of rain, a lot of humidity. So if you don't get your plants out of the ground at the right time, it's a lot of arthritis, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can assume that it will be pretty similar to what I got here for the fact that um, 1 year on tree, pretty much, you're gonna get the really drier one, really good one. And if you try a strain that year, you'll think that everyone can fit here. But it just because it's dry enough in the end of flowering that your plant really perform. But the most of the time, you may have a really bad, shitty weather end of September, and just
And you
when a
know the
lot of
dip.
strain are ready, or maybe in mid-October when later strain, like it could like it's cyclic, but end of September and 2 weeks after, normally there it's one or the other. So you're
Exactly.
gonna match one or the other that year. And I've even seen a year where it was so hot and humid in August, but what people were not expecting is that end of August, there've been a frost.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yep.
happen really
Yep.
that
It
often
has
where I
happened.
am,
Yep.
but like the third week of August, there was a frost. But most of the time, it was over 85, 90% of humidity with like in Fahrenheit would be close to 90, 92, something like that. So the night were so humid and so hot that the plant were stretching and having those really huge leaf because it was so gray. It been gray all that August time. That's a
So
nice
that
bug there.
bud right there, that
Oh,
bud
let me
came
put it
off
back
a
up.
plant that was bred by my brother Tony. He put ACDC and blueberry together and he made what he calls Sweet Lady with it. Well, I think that was one of the blueberry offshoots. And that plant just had baseball bat size colas all the way up the plant, even when it bushed out.
Well, I know that the Canatonic can do kind of long cola, so maybe yeah, it's more fat than the Canatonic. Yeah.
Dude, those
Can
buds were so dense, so
No, I get
dense.
why you say the blueberry. It kind of have a bit more of that fatty. Oh, that's nice.
Nice looking plant.
Yeah. So what's your best one to date that you've tried in your climate?
I think personally that the gold leaf I had was the gold leaf and that blueberry were the two best plants I've ever had finish up here. So
Uh, Fucking running gag that I will always say is, why don't you try the Friesland? Okay, maybe it's a bit 20 years later on. Uh, yeah, why not, dude? I've seen it sold pure a couple places, so I was like, why don't people try it again? But at the same time, there's a lot of people that will complain of different aspect of what it's supposed to be like for them, the ideal plant to have in their garden. So I won't argue with it, because to me, the Friesland, when I've tried some fresh frozen of it, I was in love again with that strain. I was like, holy shit, that's what I wanted. I don't have that disgusting. I don't know. I was really tired to smoke the bud of that Friesland at one point, whatever the line of Friesland you had. But when I've tried the fresh frozen, I was like, yeah, that's what I like about it. That's the fresh smell of it. I don't like the current bud of it. So, but yeah, Friesland, it's not that frosty, but it can be quite resilient for frost. But the only thing I've found out that was kind of annoying is it can get mildew. It just tolerant to mold and frost.
that's what
And
we need up here in the Northeast. I'm on the Northeast side of the country. So and up here we gotta have mold resistance because like I said, fall time and springtime, those can be our two worst enemies. So
yeah, but like my friend was always telling me, if the plant is in a place where it's dry enough, like it's not covered with trees around or stuff like that, if it have enough sunlight all day long on it and enough air movement around, doesn't have as much mildew. But
I got you.
I've heard Yeah, some year you may have it more, but I've heard of some people doing some light dip with it and just killing every plant that had it. But they were starting from seeds at the first season and taking clone, revegging the plant and taking clone of that plant for the next season. And they were taking back the seeds that they had, taking a nice male and pollinating that female that they had selected the last year. So that's one of the things that I've seen some people do for that. You can kind of improve a strain if you have enough plant count for that, but yeah, it take a lot of try and error. I would not guarantee any result with it, because you know what I found when they were doing hybrid with tomato and discovering that they were having quicker advance and trying to select in the same population. They started to try that stacking trait of different hybrid and doing those polyhybrid, and they started to have a lot more advanced with it. But what they do need to do at one point is fixing that in that strain, fixing the main trait in that strain, and then crossing it again with another polyhybrid to have a tiny bit more, at least, predictability on what will combine. Anyway, I was looking at different type of breeding, and so some of the breeding that is done now, it's more about like let's say having the nicest flavor or look of the bud and things like that. But they have those results mostly in warmer climate and indoor. So you may not have that same big population to go take those that are resistant to something, because their selection are all made on unique plant. Let's say more about few unique plant that may not have any of those traits in them that have been kept in the selection they did. So not want to say anything bad about that. It's just not the same thing than working with more of closer to original population and go to dig in it which one are having that trait or not. But it can be fucking long to get something of quality with that type of breeding. So when you think at going back to landrace, be careful with that. You need to test those plants before you know what you work with. I don't know if we're gonna get Kenneth tonight. I wish we could get him. We got a story about a couple Thai story for him, if you heard about it. So do you want to start with a couple funny story?
Which one you want to talk about? I mean, that's been quite the week.
Yeah, there's a couple one here.
See, I got the
Got RFK. Not only did he leave a dead baby bear in Central Park and stage it to look like a bicycle accident, he also chainsawed the head off of a fucking whale, strapped it to his family minivan, and drove it like 5 hours home. What the actual fuck?
Is the head was too long to attach it on the
Brings a
car?
chainsaw just to cut the head off a fucking whale. Like, what the fuck?
It goes
But
to that extent.
It's
I
really
mean-
hard to bury a head of a dolphin. What you
Right. Like,
a
how are
whale?
you supposed to hide that?
Not
Hey,
only
and
that, it's a
yet
felony.
he's still the most normal presidential nominee.
I think he is, even with that. I love those stories. There's one of my best friend that always wanted to have the horn on the tip of his car. I was like, why you want it? It's like it's so fucking badass, and everyone thinking that you're the worst redneck from Texas. So having it here would be the most funny shit ever. And the guy was like super kind of leftist guy, but really liking everything about redneck culture. So it was like just a mix of a contradiction guy. So he wanted to just having the horn, having the so at one point he had one of those for the bicycle. Because he only had a bicycle, he wasn't rich enough to get a car. Like, oh man, okay, I go work on that couple news here.
I'm see, yeah, okay.
Okay, you guys have heard about the town in Canada called Dildo?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so just imagine that you're in Dildo, Newfoundland.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, I just love to see Dildo and
Hard to leave.
Newfoundland. One after the other. It's my favorite.
Two
It's
at a
so
time.
dying.
so if you're there and you want to send a package, you're gonna I hope that you're gonna send it to that postal code here.
The postal
My
code.
kind of town.
That's a postal code in BC now. That's a new
Regina.
postal code in BC.
We got Regina too, which is also that's in Alberta. Or no, that's in
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, Saskatchewan, there's a really nice cartoon called Forget About It. And it's really kind of a parody of The Soprano. I know I've talked about it before. It's really one of my favorite to talk about because it's really a parody of The Soprano. But when the Canadian do a parody of The Soprano, it just end up being even more trash than it could have been. So it's just, there's hours of it on their channel on YouTube. So they share all their stuff on their channel on YouTube. You can watch it all night long if you want. It's just really funny.
Terrible. You know what's truly terrible Canadian TV? What's that like homesteading show where it's like guy owns horses and shit? Or whatever.
Oh, that's
It's terrible.
homesteading
My
one?
buddy's
I
ex
know
used to-
I know the show he's talking about. I can't think of it.
The acting is just god awful.
Oh,
That's it.
shit.
That's really every Canadian show. You're gonna have to narrow it down a little more than
No,
that.
no. What was it? Pure Ponage had really good acting.
Well, there's one thing that I don't know if you guys had it in USA before, because a lot of the concept gets sold. There's one, it's called L'amour est dans le pré. So it's like the love is in the field. They try to match some girl with some farmer. And they did, after a couple season, they did that with a gay farmer. So they could meet someone, and that's cool. But that's kind of weird also, because I don't know. I've never been in that situation where you got, I don't know, like 5 girls that have an interest toward you, and you got TV to follow that, and you got some stage moment together, and I
You know,
don't know.
it's-
That's the most awkward stuff I've ever found in it. But some of those couple were working.
Have you seen there's one, I think it's on Netflix, it's like Off Grid Love or some shit like that. We were watching that the other day.
Off
That
Grid.
shit is really it's funny too to see like really snooty fucking like crystal yoga bitches try to like actually live out in the fucking like on a homestead like they want to and just fucking be miserable and just suffer and it's fucking great.
So it's like the show on MTV.
Well,
What was Paris
That
Hilton?
sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, no, it's like there you can tell within the first 2 episodes who's gonna like stick with their partner and who isn't. But it's really, really like I highly recommend like For trash TV, there's far worse. But they're also like talking about like homesteading and self-sustainability, and like you actually learn a little bit about that kind of shit watching the show too. But it's really funny and there's this one like black chick that was from the city that was dating this like dude in the country in Alabama, and it was like there's no way this chick's gonna survive, and like by episode 3 she's like more of a mountain man than the dude is, and you're like, oh shit. It's funny. So like it's really good, but there's like a yoga teacher who just has like a full-on fucking meltdown because she's expected to like do work on the homestead. It's fucking hilarious.
I did not sign up for this.
Yeah, it's fucking great. If you ever, you know what else is really good? It's like in a similar vein, but like a little more intentionally funny is we ever watched The Moaning of Life or Idiot Abroad? Just
No,
so good.
no.
Carl Pinkerton. So
I think
good.
I've seen it. I always enjoy to look at those most funny Border Patrol story. There's always like a couple short of it once in a while. The kind of
Border Patrol
contraband that
stories.
people try to pass.
I got fun Border Patrol stories.
What's your weirdest one?
My weirdest one, I cracked my high pressure oil switch pulling into the Plattsburgh crossing in Quebec there, and from New York, and the officer opened the hood of my 77 Nova, and because you can do the hood releases underneath the bumper, and he lifted it and got sprayed in the chest and face with hot motor oil, so they hit like one of the other officers just saw him like screaming and trying to get his fucking clothes off and hit the panic button, and they like fucking heavy fucking quick release barriers came up on both sides of the border,
Yeah,
and they fucking came out guns drawn on the car. We had to put our hands behind the back of our head and get out of the car like, you know, like a felony arrest.
Yeah, you've injured an officer.
Yeah, well, that's what they thought, that I had done something to them, and it took them about 2 hours to figure out what had happened, and then they apologized for drying guns on us.
Oh, I hope they gave
We're
you one
sorry.
hell of an apology for that.
Well, to be like, in their defense, if they just didn't know what was going on, like, I didn't really feel like their response was inappropriate. You know what I mean? Until they figured out what the hell was going on. I wasn't even mad. It was just kind of scary because they were very. I've never seen the Canadians get all heavy-handed like that before, so that was a.
they can when ready. Yeah.
And normally they're chill. Like I left a bag of weed in my car one time, and I had like, it was like a, you know, a joint bag that had like just enough to tell that there was weed in it before. You know what I mean? Like it didn't have like a smokable amount. It was just like, you know, a weed baggie. And the lady was like, make sure you smoke all that before you go through the other side of the border. They're kind of assholes about it. So like I've had good times too, but that was really funny. And then in Zimbabwe, so I was the first legal person to import weed to Zim. So when the weed came, we had to go pick it up at the airport because we had to have like export papers and all this shit and phytosanitary certificates and all this other stuff. So I go there and I'm like, yeah, here, I'm pick up my weed seeds. And they're like, all right. And then they open it and they're like, okay, well, like, you're definitely coming with us. Like, are you fucking stupid? And I was like, no, here's my paperwork. Like, you know, fuck off. Like, go get me your boss. And so they go and they check it all out, and it has like the right stamps and all the shit. So then they're like, all right, well, we're gonna put this seed box out for the police dogs at the airport and like see if they hit on it. So they sit it out with like 7 or 8 other boxes, and the dogs like completely ignore it. And they went from being like, ha ha, funny, this is cool, to like really angry that they got ripped off from dogs. And like it was a very sketch situation for about 30 minutes trying to like just get my fucking seeds and get out of there.
They ended up giving them to you though, right?
Oh yeah, no, we like, I would have raised hell, and I had like the phone number of people that would make their life shitty if I needed to, but that wasn't a big issue. Plus I was like, hooking up with the niece of the health minister over there, so that helped.
There you go. There you go. Connections.
Yeah, and he's the one that's in charge of licenses over there, so that made life extra easy. Super cool chick,
What's
by the
going
way.
on right now over there? Is it going better than like? I mean, you went there when the market was starting to shift toward more legal aspect to it.
Yeah, so they still don't allow the locals to smoke, which is kind of fucked.
Okay.
But they allow it for export, no problems. But
This is Africa.
this is
Yeah,
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe in
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah.
But there was like me and like one other American over there when I was there.
That's one of those country names that I remember because it's funny.
Well, there was like two white dudes in the whole country that had dreadlocks. I was one of them, and the other dude lived like 20 minutes away. So we hung out once in a while down in Kadoma.
How did the plants do down there?
They did good. The only reason why that project ended was because of COVID. So
Oh, that sucks.
Surprise.
COVID killed everything, man.
Yeah. Because when I've learned about you, you were over there
yeah,
filming. It was really nice. One thing I remember that you were showing there, or maybe it was one of the field in Jamaica, but I was trying to explain to a guy like, if you plant in your tent or whatever in a small garden, you may not really like if it different strain on top of it, you may not see that same thing happen. But when you plant a patch of plant, the first one at one point that get really taller, most of the time they are all male. But it's a specific time, and that's
yeah.
exactly when that picture you were showing was. And I was like, yeah, you see most of them. It's funny, but sometimes I've seen a picture recently in stuff from Afghanistan or Pakistan. They were showing that a lot of the male were a tiny bit taller, but
Yeah.
a lot of
So
male also were pretty much the same height, but the female were barely showing pistol at that point. And
so
I've
unless
heard,
you're doing like unless you're doing like a really crazy cross, like something like totally not related. If you do something that's like pretty closely related, or it's an F2 or whatever, and it's not just like an F1 cross, you'll get all the males on week 3 and 4 will be taller than all the females, like across the board, like pretty universally. Other than that, in Jamaica, it's like 99% accurate that way.
yeah, one thing I've
But
heard a lot of.
that's how the Rastas sort it out, is that they'll plant all their seeds, and then at week 4 they'll just go and pull all the tall ones, and that's how they deal with it.
Yeah, and I've heard some of them were making their seeds in the what they call the winter, the short season, or the wet season. So they don't, because they don't have the same quality of bud, so they were making seeds at that point and trying to get the best season for the seedless crop. But yeah, man, I've seen that post of that place in Afghanistan or Pakistan that they were showing that a lot of the female were barely showing sex when the male were in full bloom.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
the hours of light and how warm it is and how the environmental trigger that the plant can receive, it's different. So let's say that you always try to pull out the male that are the most early in your field, and the female that are too early, you cull them. Well, you may end up that sometime your plant doesn't finish, or you have pollination that happen in the wrong time, whatever. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird how, depending on your latitude, you take those seeds and you grow them. Let's say in California, I was seeing a video of Jad Nectar saying, "Oh, I got some strain that were like I think it is Pakistani strain that he had. The male have just shown so quick that he've not even had time to pollinate a female with it before the male just get just die under themselves. So, I remember one time we had a stuff really early, and that thing, if you were not careful to save the pollen of it, you were not able to pollinate the female with those male. The male was too quick to flip and flower mode, and they were finishing just when the female were starting to have some pistil. So you were lucky if you let it go like that to have maybe 10, 20 seeds by plant, because you were barely just sexing. So I don't know if you've seen it with the other strain, but I just remember that strain that was a really quick flowering and really early trigger one. Like if you grow it with the, let's say, 14 hours of light, they were finishing flowering it by themselves, and
I've
like
seen that. I've seen that when you cross like certain like tropical land races. Sometimes, the males will be like super far ahead, like you're talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Aren't they naturally ahead just because of the fact that they release pollen? I thought
Yeah,
males
same
were
thing.
always naturally.
Same thing with why they are always taller. It's because
Yeah,
they're trying to get that
needs
pollen to
to.
go a farther
Yeah,
distance, spread
yeah,
out.
exactly.
Yeah, but there's a thing with the male that they have like a, how do you call it? They're they have like a chronology in their, they have a timing in them already, and there is some trigger that could make it happen quicker. Like if you have less hours of light, a tighter pot,
Environmental stress, yeah.
environmental stress, but the hours of light and the condition overall may dictate that thing to happen even more. So sometimes you can play with it and try to re-veg it, take a clone or whatever, try to chop them back and let them regrow and take the clone at that point. And you may try different things, different hours of light. But one thing that some people explain it by being more far from the equator, more north or south. It can be some stuff that the plant will be not like a autoflower, but more like a plant that will die instead of revegging. Okay, and some of those plants may have a transitional flowering longer than others. Some may be really short transitional flowering phase and may have those smaller flower that they don't need as much time to fill it. So, and other may have a longer pre-flowering phase and just stretch and make some leaf, a bit like some autoflower now that we see bigger. Like there are some stuff in Siberia that still reach 8 feet tall, but they go into free flower mode really early. And whatever the hours of light you have, even if you have less hours of light, the plant will just be a tiny bit more small and maybe less leafy than more hours of light. And sometimes it's the opposite. It will be more leafy, whatever. But the thing that's really funny is, let's say you have a tropical plant, original population. You have some of those plants that still have the ability to just flower when they want to by age or a trigger, but the trigger is not the hours of light mainly. And you don't see it as much in the really selected strain. Like the Zamal, some of the plant in the Zamal, they will not flower if you lower the light or take a clone, make it in a tiny pot, whatever. It just want to flower when it's old enough and will take pretty much the same time, maybe a couple of weeks more than the others, but that will be like the last plant in the freaking field that
Some
you
of the
harvest.
some of the freak show re-veg automatically, like the Zamal and the one or two freak show phenos are the only ones I know that'll do that.
you can finish to flower and it reveg by itself as soon as it finish.
If it's in the tropics, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If
Almost
it gets
wonder if that might
cold,
be a genetic thing brought on by the terroir that it grows in.
Oh, it's definitely a genetic trait for sure.
yeah, there's a lot of that particularity also for a plant that you're gonna grow indoor or and try to make some selection even for outdoor. Like I was saying, if you plant a bunch of seeds outdoor and get a couple really good one, you chop the bud, bring the bottom of
I'm
the plant
on, I'm
indoor
on,
in a
I'm on,
pot
I'm on.
and try to re-veg that plant. There's some people that are trying it, and what I found funny is like some seeds from Pakistan. I had back then was like you're thinking that the plant is really done, like maybe second week of October, and I've said to my friend one point, oh let's get some plant that we just let the bud there see what happened on those couple one. And what have happened is the bud were getting, the calyx were just spacing out instead of staying like a tight bud. They were spacing on each other and having a kind of small branch in between the calyx bunch. And there was some leaf and growing in between the calyx and, restarting to kind of spread out like that.
Mhm.
So what what we did is taking some of the same seeds and trying it indoor on some clone and see. Okay, let's test it on different way. We let some plant going by themselves at 12-12, and another one we try to re-veg it, put it back at 18 or 20 hours of light, and both of them were re-vegging at one point. It was just quicker if you would add more hours of light. And my friend was like, holy shit, when you were thinking we could let it longer, we cannot. Not with that one. Yeah, it was just really interesting to see it because first I had never seen it back then, a plant having a bunch of calyx and having leaf growing out of it, of that bunch and making kind of a branch out of, it's not every strain that do that. But I like that structure of really loose calyx when you make some ash, but it's really maybe a bit shitty to have those nugget more dense. So, man, I had a story in a Chinese restaurant. Uh, I don't. Oh, it's real. Yeah, it's in China. There is a woman over there that was having a shrimp, and some that hot boiling stuff, whatever. She was about to put it in the broth, boiling broth, and the shrimp have escaped from her whatever fermenting it, and it just lay it on the table, trying to fight on itself, whatever it been like. Oh, I'm alive! Don't eat me! And the shrimp have attacked the arm of the lady. I did not know that eating shrimp was really adventurous event, but I found a video of that.
Oh, you got it? Oh,
Yeah, I found the video of it. I guess it must hurt us.
I mean, it seems fair to me. I mean, risk you take.
Arm that shrimp.
Yeah, dude. Like that shrimp's a hero.
Speaking of arming shrimp,
She.
Songkran, when I was in Thailand, it's like a big water gun fight, water balloon fight festival. It's like one of the cooler festivals in Thailand. Definitely a fun time to go visit. Anyways, we had a big company pool party, and a lot of the kids in the village didn't have money for water guns, right? So I went into the store and I bought like all the water guns they had at the local little corner store. I had like 4 or 5 grocery bags full. And I walked up to the party and I was like, "Hi, I'm an American. I'm from the Arm the Children Foundation." And I started passing out the water guns to all the kids. It was like the most American thing in the world to do. It was like arming a bunch of children.
Have you seen that Elon Musk have changed the icon?
I'm surprised
for,
you didn't get recruited by the CIA after that.
Right?
Man, Elon Musk have changed the icon on X for the instead of a water gun, it's a real gun. I still like a bit better the water gun. I mean, it's really more fun to have a gunfight than a tweet, I guess. A water gunfight. It's like, oh, I'm gonna wet your t-shirt, something like that. It's just fun.
Oh yeah. They have like they make all kinds of they make sato, which is this like really awesome like backwoods alcohol that the Thais make. It's really, really good. It's like a rice whiskey, but it's not like a sake. It tastes different. But man, is it's yummy. And some people make it like 5%, other people make it like 20%. So you gotta like pay attention to who's serving you.
Yeah, I had some sake with some Japanese, and I did not know that some of it was like close to 40%, something like that. Like I had tasted one that I think it's 16, 18% that they sell here. But they got another kind of rice uh, alcohol that is like 40% more. And I go see a friend that Japanese and his
Is it
family
Lao
who
Khao?
have a dairy. Lao cow? Oh, I don't remember, man. It's a long time ago. But they have that small glass, and I'm like, Is that water or tea? What's that? Like, I don't see what's in it." And they were like, "No, it's just regular alcohol, like good sake." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. It's kind of tiny bit sweet. It's gonna be nice." But I did not know that it was kind of taking a shot of rum. That shit was really good quality, like really the finest quality that you can find that they could. They know their thing, whatever. But man, that was really nice flavor. But that was like taking a shot of vodka, and I was really not expecting it. My sip was a bit too big for it. So I was a bit ashamed to have a big reaction in front of them because they are kind of you know, they
You
don't
came
have a
in
lot
with
of
reaction?
reaction. Yeah, before they know you at least. But yeah, I found it kind of. I was a bit of a shame of not dealing properly with a shot of. But man,
Yeah, I mean,
the
you
Japanese
can
are so
be.
sweet. I love them, man.
Well, it seems pretty Japanese to show your erection to them immediately after.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. I did some judo, so that's a bit just why I've met that guy. But it's another story.
You fall
I
in
like
love with
judo.
them after doing judo. Is that why you had to show them your erection?
No, no. I hope that you don't have any erection doing judo, because if he tried to grab your belt, he may grab you. He tried to grab your belt to lift you, and you just grab it. I don't know, man. I hope you don't know. I hope no. But I don't know. Judo it's something that I find really fun to do because you have more cardio than injury. Even if you get kind of serious with it, the only bad thing that have happened one time was kind of a guy that choked too strongly the other. But if left him in time, the guy just went to sleep for a few moments. But I started to worry about that later on because there was really stupid things when I was young that I know some kids still do that, but they were trying to choke themselves till they pass out or having someone else do it for them. And
Yeah.
that's really dangerous, man. You don't want to do that. I've
We used to
always
do that
been
shit all
scary.
the time. I mean, people should not do that, but that was a common thing when
Yeah.
we were kids.
Where it's come from? The wrestling? Because we're watching too much wrestling? I don't know. That's the only fucking link I'm seeing with it.
I don't know. It was not enough access to good drugs, I think, is really the problem. They're
Well,
like, get these kids better drugs.
is it when they started to change the gas and the whippet?
I blame the DARE program and Nancy Reagan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. But no, what was that thing with the ozone gas that the gas that attack ozone? Because I was really happy as a kid
Captain Planet?
yeah, when they've changed it. No, but when they did that small icon of a kind of a blue planet with some strike on it, whatever. Anyway, it was some
David
gas that
Attenborough?
was. Sorry?
David Attenborough, Blue Planet?
No, no, no. It was just a small logo that they started to add on the spray net to say that they did not have that dangerous gas for the ozone.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
CFC.
CFL.
CFC.
CFL.
No, I think CFC. I think CFL. No,
I believe
CFL
it's
is not the
CFCs
light.
now.
Okay, I don't know, but it's chlorofluoride something. Anyway, that's a bad gas for a planet. Greta would have been upset. But anyway, in the 80s, 90s, there was so many of those planet hair. Like, oh man, that was like horrible because everybody was smoking. And there's always a story in the high school or in a bar that some hair were catching in fire. Because that was really a hazard thing to get on your head when you have as many people drunk trying to light up their cigarette just beside you, and you just had your spray net attached in the bathroom. It's like really bad idea. But if you want to make a really nice fire, you just take a bottle of spray net and light it. It will pretty much be like a light flamethrower,
Yeah, you were right, Evil. It was CFCs.
Yay! Oh man, the spray net was just so a bad memory in my head. All the freaking man, my mom was using a lot of those things, but I don't know if she was worse than any. I don't know for that, but she was loving to get her kind of her hair fixed and have that spray net to have it fixed in place all day long. But you go in the bathroom after it was like you need a gas mask. Wow. Must have burned some cell of people, man. I don't know what was that on those guys, but I guess it was more dangerous than making some whippet. But and I've seen a really weird story. There was a guy filming coming out from the Grateful Dead, and you were hearing like a lot of puff once in a while, and if end up finding that everyone had a balloon. Everyone had a balloon going out of
It's
that
like a bar
concert.
in Thailand. Everyone's got a balloon.
Dude, there was some guy with their wheelchair with those big, big tank of it and filling it. And the cops were all parked on the side of the street. but the guy went there to that show the night after again to see it to show the 2 nights in a row. And that second night, the police have arrested everyone that were doing it. All the guy that had the tank.
There was one of them Grateful Dead concert where the guy like fled down the sewers and they never got him. He was selling nitrous. The guy either got lost in the sewers or like knew where he was going.
Well,
I wonder how
I've
much acid you have to do to get lost in the sewers.
At least 3 tabs.
the dosage have already been established on that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, I love it. Well, that's one of those things that
Blues clues for stuff. Maybe we can find a clue.
Take another tab, Blue.
Take another tab, Blue.
When you're at the fourth, fifth time, you may find the exit. May not be the one to get out of the sewer, but you're gonna find an exit for sure. Yeah, so well, I found something a bit weird the other day. Looking at the news, I've got that one in French, but the weirdest one was to find BBC News Africa. Okay, not the weirdest thing yet. But the BBC guy had a kilo of gold up his bum. And what I found the most.
I mean, if you can do it big, man. Like, fuck yeah.
Wait a minute. He's been arrested in Sri Lanka. He tried
I'm
to
sorry,
take
I
the
should say
plane
that.
for India with a kilo of gold hide there. But when they started to, look deeper in him, what they found is 7 small lingot, 6 chain. It's a chain in there. I don't know if they were loose or whatever. And everything together was about 25,000 euro. So when you look at it in rupee, it 4.5 million. It looked really big, but it's 25,000 euro. So maybe close to 20,000 US. So they've paid him 600 euro to do that.
Yeah,
I don't know for you guys, but no, not enough to put 6, 7 lingot up his bum. I mean, okay, they were a smaller one, but dude, it's kind of square, weird. And the chain. I mean, are you tying each of
You're
the
just
lingot
jealous.
with
You're
a
just
chain?
jealous because your
How
prison
many tabs
pouches
of
was
acid
good.
did that take?
I don't know for that one. I think you need a lot of boofing of kratom. You
I don't
try
know,
your
man. I don't know if you want to boof Kratom. It kind of makes it harder to boof anything.
I don't know if you
Plugs you
can do
up.
that. Can you really boof kratom?
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's possible. I mean, it's possible to stick anything up your ass if you're brave enough.
I don't know if you know about those college story, but the bear bong
And what
is
kind
a
of college
thing.
you went to?
I've heard of
Sounds
the
like a
bear
Christian
bong.
conservative school to me.
Yeah, I've also heard of the bear bum.
The bears usually want your bum, yes.
That's a yeah, you see, you got a couple lingot there. Forensic research and criminology. Oh, you're going deep over there.
have a good night, girl.
Oh, have a good night, buddy. Thanks, Ev.
Here's
Medical Journal, Forensic Research and Criminology.
Yeah, man, the stuff that people are putting up there, it's crazy. Uh, uh, Talking of forensic, I've heard the other day that at one point they had someone that had 8-inch black one inside when she was, she was dead, and she was laying there, and it wasn't the cause of the death. But it make you wonder what have happened just before, or why she had it still there. Yeah, that I don't know, but I'm not sure she wanted to still have it there when she was having that how you call it, that forensic exam, to establish the cause of death, or the coroner. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, holy crap. Okay, it's not something I was expecting, that someone die and having it inside of them, but they say that they found really weirdo shit. It was just one of the kind of, you don't expect it. I found
Oh,
a
8-inch BBC.
what?
Is that what you're talking about?
No, the 8-inch, yeah, the BBC, the big black dildo. That one, that one. So if we
favorite,
continue
right?
on the weirdest one, are we going with the dolphin or the cow
Oh,
story?
well,
How about the
there's
crocodile story?
the
Oh man, you've
crocodile
got
one.
that
The
one.
crocodile is
Yeah,
probably the most
Oh, the
fucking the
fucked
yeah,
worst
up
yeah.
one.
one.
Show me
That
that.
one takes the
Yeah,
cake.
the
Let's go.
crocodile is definitely the worst one. Here we go. All right. So this crocodile expert was arrested. Well, actually, he was just sentenced to I believe it was 10 years for sexually abusing and then killing the I think plus of 10 dogs that they are aware of. But anyways, he'll be eligible for parole in 2028. Um and is now banned from owning any mammals for the rest of his life. Yeah, definitely one of the more fucked up stories. What's weird is he's like an animal expert, and you wouldn't really expect it from that type of person.
Yeah, it's more like the Doctor Dingle sack, or no,
You should
no.
like treat him like they do in Zim and just tie his arms and legs together and toss him off a bridge to the crocs.
Fuck, it would be the best. Yeah, no, probably the easiest. Yeah.
They tie them alive and ship them overboard. Oh crap!
Yeah, so Balangagwa, the guy that replaced Mugabe, his like Shona name is the crocodile because during the Civil War, he would anyone that they thought was a spy or a scout, they'd tie their arms and legs together and toss them off a bridge to the Nile crocs.
Hmm.
That's a weird one. Yeah, that's weird. So
Someone in chat said, "Get the bad dragon out for that guy."
yeah, I'm all right on that one. Say that it wasn't enough, and animal cruelty
Oh
should
yeah.
be. Yeah.
Apparently, there's like an Australian ABC documentary on the whole thing, which is like even more fucked up. It's like Australian ABC or NBC or whatever.
Yeah, I like to go quickly over that kind of thing. Like, going into an hour documentary about talking about that. No, after the Tiger King stuff, I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of heat a bit.
Tiger King came out when I was living in Zimbabwe, and that shit was hilarious because they're like, "So does everyone like act like that for Oklahoma?"
I
It was
wasn't
like, no, that is
believing.
not normal behavior for Oklahoma.
The, there's so many level of thing that it was like,
There's
what?
yeah, it's like a fucking like Russian nesting doll of like psychopaths and insanity. Like that whole thing. One guy just got sentenced. The guy who's in season 2 of Tiger King. He just
Oh,
got
that greasy other fella.
the long-haired, greasy dude. Yeah, that
Yeah,
had
yeah,
like,
yeah,
all
yeah. I
the
know you're
weird control
talking.
over the chicks.
Yep.
Like made that chick get her breast implants or whatever. Like he's a scumbag.
But I don't remember the name of each of them, but there was one of the guy that we've heard
Doc.
about him a lot, that he was whatever, having a fight with a girl, but one of his employee have lost an arm in the process. One of the tiger have just tried to grab him, and I think it was during the show or just after maybe. And the employee was like, no, it's all good. But we've learned after that they had a kind of a weird relationship involving crystal
Was it
meth
Vince
and
Offer, the ShamWow guy that got his tip of his tongue bit off by a hooker?
oh,
You know, you need a ShamWow after your choker bites your tongue off.
oh, that's that guy.
Yeah, yeah. There's like a
But
really
if you
funny
don't fucking
story
pay, what do you
about, like,
expect? Like, come on,
he was
like.
making out with her and he had like his tongue down her throat and then she like bit it and refused to let go and then he like punched her and she bit the tip of it off.
So
It's
that's a
fucking
bit like
crazy.
a really Loretta Bobbitt of the tongue. Oh,
Yeah. He's
so
in he was in some bad movie. I forget what it was. It the Onion movie or he was in something not that long ago.
the only thing I knew about that guy, why we're not hearing about him, is that there was something weird happened to him. I did not know it was that yet.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what happened. And like all those guys like died like or had some fucked up shit happen. The ShamWow guy fucking overdosed on, or not ShamWow guy, the Billy Mays. He fucking got like cocaine and hit his head on an airplane and had like an aneurysm after doing
Yeah.
too much blow. I think the only one that's alive still is Tom Odell. I think he's still alive. Like, do you remember this guy? Let me find it. Cutlery Corner. Yes. Remember this guy? Like, share this.
Will consist is a katana overload, and I'm going to tell you why.
Do you remember this dude who sell like
Guaranteed.
station katanas at like 2 a.m.?
$20.
I mean, that's probably when you sell the most katanas.
Right? Like people coming over from the bar, had
Bro.
a few.
Dude, I need one of those.
Oh wow.
I guess it's the
So
same
this
hours
one was
that
great. No, you'd buy like fucking case it. So this is a great one. Watch this. No, that's not the one. There's one where the guy like hits the fucking takes a katana and like hits the yeah, here you go. This is it. Here you go. Watch this. So he takes it, he like hits the table, and the blade bounces back and stabs him in the chest, like not shallow. The tip just got me.
trust me, you can buy it.
No, ready? That's not
Roll
even
it
the
back,
best
roll it
part,
back, roll
right?
it back, roll it
This
back.
is the best
I
part
want
of
to
this.
see a
Hold on,
break.
hold
I want
on.
to see a break again.
No, okay. Hold on, it gets so
You
much better. It gets
can
there's
slow
a
it
better
down.
part of this. All right, here you go.
And the nice thing about these practice katanas, that hurt.
Right? So this is the best part. Tom jumps in, right?
You see the blade like slipping on his arm.
May need emergency surgery in the studio.
Emergency surgery in the studio.
And as a
Oh my
result,
God.
we're gonna have a flash sale.
2 for 1.
Slash in prices. Written
my
in his
God.
own blood.
We don't
Oh
only cut
my
the
Anyway,
price
so
here.
those
I'm
guys
even
used
cutting.
to record. They used to record.
We're
at QB
chopping
I
prices.
used to do the aquariums at QBC, and I used to like bump into those dudes when I used to do the aquarium shit there. And Tom Odell was always wasted at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Recording that shit was fucking awesome.
Oh, that was a good laugh. Thank you, fellas. That was good.
Yeah, dude, that was great. Like, you don't have like good trash television like that anymore. Like, but there's a whole like so many good episodes of Cutlery Corner with wasted Tom Odell. Like seriously, there's like a whole bunch of good clips of it on YouTube. If you haven't checked it out, it is fucking hilarious.
Well, I've found something about a cat being a dealer of drugs. Yeah, man. They don't only
Catnip
like
and
to.
My cat might live a life like that.
Yeah,
No, I
your
wonder-
cat may be a gangster too, because in Sri Lanka they've catch a cat in the principal prison of the country trying to introduce some drug
Oh,
and some SIM card.
nice.
inside a cat.
That's smart. That's smart. I like that.
So the cat had a small pack, a plastic pack attached to his neck, and that was containing close to 2 grams of heroin, 2 SIM card, and a memory card. So after the journal Aruna, the cat have evaded Sunday from the prison where he was
Like
retained.
50 fat prison guards chasing
No,
this
no,
one
but
cat.
they've captured the cat with that drug and the SIM card, and they've put the cat in the
Goddamn can of
prison.
tuna. Fuck, they would have
Okay,
never got him.
and the cat have escaped back from the prison. So the authority did not react to that. So the cat have released by himself. So I just want to say that the cat have not only 9 life, they have a free pass to escape from prison, and after have introduced 2 grams of heroin and some stuff. So if you want to evade the prison time, maybe be a cat, a real cat. So cat out there, yeah, you can. Yeah, all the furry. I don't know if you worked for you. You're a bit big, but yeah.
How about
I mean,
I'm surprised there's no war bears in the Ukraine-Russian war. World War II, the Russians found this bear in Iran and trained it to like carry artillery shells. Yeah.
yeah, the bear was
there's a
getting drunk
famous
and smoking
battle.
cigarette.
Yeah, there's a famous battle where it carried a bunch of artillery shells to their artillery pieces so they can fucking fire it against the Germans. But they it also caught a spy. There was like a spy in a bathroom or whatever that was hiding and it like sniffed out his cologne or something that was different on him and figured out that the dude was a spy. Pretty badass
Project.
bear. Yeah, and he
Project.
lived to be like pretty old, lived to 1963, and they found him in 42. War bears.
Yeah, a war bear. And he was still calm with all the bombardment and stuff like that. That's one of the things I remember reading on it.
He used to drink vodka and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, over there, yeah.
Don't let bears smoke cigarettes anymore.
Yeah, that was in the soldier ration. So people were not smoking as much before the 2 war happened.
He was having, this is a Wikipedia article. He was initially had problems swallowing and was fed condensed milk and vodka. Subsequently given fruit, marmalade, honey, and syrup. What the fuck? The bear's not drinking.
Dude, obviously Paddington loved fucking marmalade sandwiches. Why the fuck not? Like, what else are you gonna feed him?
Yeah, I guess.
Break up the
they looked at it
marmalade.
in bear
Like,
time.
yeah, man.
Russia
Give us
don't have
some-
grilled cheese? What? Russia don't have grilled cheese? What they gonna do? Oh,
Later went on to found a toilet paper company. I'm just kidding.
Just a Charmin.
uh, oh, we've not found talk about that one yet. The guy in Thailand. Where is Kanatai? Kanatai does it. This dude, I wish you could say something about it. So
What
the
happened?
Russian guy have escaped from war and from to go to get sent as a conscript to Ukraine. So he went to Thailand, and he had a girlfriend that was from American, and she was hired in the airline, and she left him and go to live in USA. And he was so sad about it that he even wrote to Putin and to a couple others like that, high rank, to try to help him get her back to him. He was so sad. I don't know what kind of idea he had to write to them about it. I mean, why they should care? So one of the things they said to Putin was, "Oh, if you bring me back my girlfriend, I would do anything for my country or whatever." But he freaking escaped the war. But the worst thing is yet to come, because now he might be extradited from Thailand and sent back to Russia, because that morning, the 15th August, last August, he just went and get himself naked, went in the field where there was a big beef and a cow. So he went toward the beef and decided to go toward the cow just after, naked. So the local were doing like if nothing happened, but watching the guy and being like, what the hell he's doing in the field naked, going to see the cow. So he tried to, let's say, take her by behind, and she had a headache this morning. She wasn't into that at all. I think she wasn't into Russian guy, because she hooked him in the ass with her arm and strike him to the ground. So the guy was yelling to the local, crying for help. So I got that link there. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the picture of it? Okay, so oh, I don't know if I got the video down. No, okay. So I'll show you quickly that. So here's the guy there with the cow being really not happy on him. And he was really hooked with an arm in his behind right there. And we see just lower there. So they were, oh man, I don't know if his face is covered with shit, but anyway, it looked like he got shit in his face. So yeah, they were there helping him after get hooked and they arrest him. Yeah, so you see, he was looking really glorious right there. So expect him to see that. Yeah, I guess you can expect that guy to be in Ukraine in the next month or two, it will look pretty much like that, but laying on the other side. So I don't know. Bad idea, dude. Yeah, bad choice of life. So
Was,
yeah, holy
I was
crap.
listening to a thing about different accidents, and I didn't know the first fatal nuclear accident was because some guy realized the other dude was banging his girlfriend, and he like locked the door and opened the radiation thing, and it's like we're all gonna fucking die now.
Yep.
It's fucking
Yep.
crazy.
That was out in the Midwest somewhere. I can't remember exactly what state.
It was in Idaho. Yep.
Atomic City, Idaho.
Yep.
You know, I gotta say, my state, for as small of a state as it is doing fabulous things in the cannabis sector, like with their laws and stuff. Here, corporate is not allowed in cannabis. Um, they've restricted it so tight that, like, if you own a farm per se, your cousin can't own a farm. You can own a farm together, but you can have yours and he can't have it. So I gotta say, for my state, they're really doing wonders. State of Vermont, we're small, northeast, kind of cold sometimes.
I think it's really a good idea because the model that you got just north of you is the total opposite. It's even the retail is all controlled by the province over here. So yeah, and it's a really different context over here than it could be when the big corporation are not allowed like that. Uh, I don't know on which level I think it's the best, but something a bit into allowing more I mean, there's something I've never understood. It's why they were like assuming that most of the people, the only thing they want is pay tax on what they buy with the lower like like the price is not the same. They sell you at retail price. There's absolutely no kind of good deal on what you got, or let's say a clearance stuff. You know, before they get, if your stuff start to be old and you want to renew it, you could maybe sell it cheaper. But no, not here. So one of the things that happen is there are some stuff that is left on the shelf just because maybe people don't know about it. It's maybe even crap. We don't know because it's in a closed container anyway. So a lot of the produce get burned. And by the time they had figured what worked better or not as the produce, I would guess that a lot of it was going to get burned. So yeah, that part is a bit strange because for a while I've heard of some people back then that were burning the old stock when they had the new one coming in to not lower the price and always have the same type of quality. So it make me think at that. But there's always something to do with it instead of just getting rid of it. They could make some a tincture and edible with it, or they could
Or
do
hell,
something.
just if you can't get anything off it, if it's still good, give it to somebody who needs it.
Yeah, but the company would not just give it away as a freebie because the
Right.
government would not get any tax on it, and they've
Well,
already
they could put
reclaimed
like a
some
two
tax.
buck chuck sort of thing, you know. They could make it discounted price. I mean, but who wants to do that either?
At least to cover to cover some fee of it. But yeah, one thing I've heard that some were doing is making some edibles, some tincture with it, or some stuff like that. I mean, there's still something good in it.
Right?
It's
You can always
just
press it, make cash
yeah,
out of it. Like, there's always a product that can be made to bring in that money.
yeah, yeah, and even like one of the thing I've heard some people like when they had really a lot of material that was starting to get old like that. They were making like putting it in alcohol over making uh, that tincture, and they were saying that even if it's old stuff, it still medicates you enough, and it got
Exactly.
everything in it. It just doesn't have the same maybe high THC. I don't know, like what it just transform into some other compound. So I don't know. It may not be tasty like that as a flower, but there's something to do with it.
Well, there
So
are
Oh,
some plants that will go more CBD leaning after a certain period of time, which then if that does that, that's the case. That makes good for headaches, all sorts of
kind
stuff.
of CBD actually finishes before THC. So like if you
yeah,
were harvesting for CBD alone, you'd harvest usually 2 or 3 weeks before you would harvest for THC.
Okay.
Yeah.
it's CBN, I guess, that
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
thinking of.
THC is
CBN
before
you'd be
CBN
really
after, yeah,
bombing.
and then
But I've seen the CBN level. I've not verified, but I remember saying that the CBN level were not as high that we were expecting when it get older. I
Well,
don't
it's
know if.
easier. You're better off if you're just chasing CBN. You like just take your concentrate, put it on like a heat plate with a stir, and let it sit for like 3 to 5 days, and it'll convert most of your THC to CBN.
Yeah, that was the heat treatment. Yeah,
You
there's a
can also
guy.
you can also, if you want to do a flower, you can expose the flower to ozone, oxygen 3, and that'll oxidize the THC down as well. So you can put it in like a vacuum chamber and then flood it with ozone and then do it that way.
Now,
When
what's
you
the
cure.
CBN for? What does CBN do?
So CBN is like a sedative. So if I have like a medical patient, I need them to fucking sleep, like, and
Okay.
not, you know, move around a lot. That's a really, or if you just want a sleep aid. We actually did some sublinguals of it, and me and Tommy decided we were never going to release the recipes because they were like the world's best date rape drug if you like misused it. So uh, it was one of those like, no, we created something dangerous. We can't be like the first weed company that's getting like accused of aiding in sexual assault. So we're not going to release that product.
Yeah, because you guys really pass out if you take too
Yeah,
much.
no, like you give somebody some of this, and in like 5 minutes they are out. Like it was fucking crazy. Yeah.
Now, see, that sounds like something I'd be interested. Not the sublingual but they have me on a CPAP machine for my sleep apnea, and it's not working.
Well, the sleep apnea, yeah, it help you to bring always air to you, right?
Yep.
That machine, yeah,
Yep.
because it's a bit different than just falling asleep. But the problem is that, yeah, if you stop
Right.
breathing when you sleep, I guess it's still good to have that machine. But if you take a good dose of that kind of tincture, you're gonna sleep for a good long night. That first time, that for sure, man.
Yeah. The
I
other
would
thing
love
too,
a full night's sleep. I'd give anything for a full night's sleep.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
I,
if you try to do it every day, you may need to take some break because it won't. At one point you get used to it.
Yeah, tolerance
exercise
builds up.
helps a lot with sleep apnea. My dad had sleep apnea and he's been like walking a couple miles a day and it's been helping him quite a bit. There's like a chemical from like your muscles burning and doing shit that really helps like counteract the shit that causes sleep apnea.
That's good to know. Thanks, Potent. That's good to
Yeah, I
know.
don't know the exact chemistry. All I know is that my dad started exercising a lot more, and it's really helped him significantly with the symptoms.
Yeah, 'cause, like for me, like for pain or the just releasing a bit some, because I got some tendon that gets really stiff and it really hurt and whatever. And the inflammation go in it, and if I smoke some or I take some edible that is really more narcotic or more goofy effect, I would say it doesn't work that much. I just get super stoned. Yes, I may go to sleep, but for the pain, it doesn't work as good. Then
Right.
some people may say that, oh, you need a really narcotic stuff. No, for me, I've just discovered that a bit more heady kind of stuff, it works. It relax me. It allow me to be able to move well and not being all super stoned as fuck if you don't take too much of it. But I can still be clear-headed and have some relief from it. Beside the whatever, if I smoke some good kush and I'll just be really stoned and enjoy that moment, but the pain will still be there and my hand will still hurt at one point. I was trying to see if it was a matter of which strain, and it was more about the type of effect or the terpene involved in it. It had nothing to do with oh, it's narcotic, it gonna relax you. Not for what I got. So
Right.
it just depend on what you got, you know. And it depend on what you really like too, because what I like to smoke doesn't mean that it helped me. So I had took some candy of I think it was a mix of freak show and something else. It was working better than another edible that was supposed to be half CBD, half THC, and I don't know. The CBD itself, I like it. I think it's helped to relax without having that really stony effect. But I'm not sure what's the proportion toward THC that will be better. Because I just find that when those gummy are really good, because we've made it at home, they were just really so tasty. I wanted to eat another one and another one. So I cannot really tell you. I was always had to stop myself after two or three of them because they were like pretty big one. Um, but yeah, I know that Green Goddess is having those kind of it looked like a pineapple or something like that, nearly like a orange or something. And I think it was like 1,000 milligram. She got it on the reserve and she was taking a piece of it like normal candy nearly, but she's used to that. She have a high tolerance. I was looking at how much she was taking, like 300 milligram or something like that. I was like, holy crap, I will be so out of my mind with 300 milligram. I don't take a lot of it for a while. I'm like, I will be like maybe awake all night or completely stoned out of my mind and fall asleep after an hour. It's always one or the other. And the weirdest part with it is I don't know if it's depend on the strain in the edible, but I've eat some edible the other shot that they were selling here, and I was like, I'm not really stoned. So I eat another pack of it. I had 3 pack. So I've eat the 3 pack and I've stayed awake all night. I wasn't able to go to sleep with that thing. I don't know if it's the amount of sugar in those gummies.
Could be a mixture of things. Could be the sugar content, the strain. I
Man,
bought
I
I
wasn't
bought
stoned, but I was awake.
uh,
I wasn't really feeling it. So what I've realized with all the gummies they sell here, they may taste really good, but you may not expect to be high with a pack of gummies. It's not really gummies, the small gummies, but they had some kind of candy stuff. But the quality was good. It was tasting good. It was
I just
just
bought my wife the
yeah,
magic butter machine for the home. This is for the home people, not an industrial
yeah.
type thing, but I bought her the magic butter machine and I got her the gummy molds. She's made 2 batches of gummies and they were fanatical. Like,
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, the other day what I did myself was just some homemade gummies with some gelatin. I think I've used it. Uh, Olive oil and butter, or I don't remember if it's olive oil or butter that I've used it with it, but I had a bit of fruit juice with it. Anyway, I've made a homemade gummies with some dry stuff I made. Holy crap, that was working as a charm. That worked really well. And when my friend have asked me what was the dosage, I said, well, I took 5 grams of that dry stuff, put it in like I had like a plate that go in the small grill oven, the small one that you got a kind of a plate to put your fry or whatever in it.
Right.
So I don't know, it's maybe 5 inch by 8, something like that. And it was just a big layer of that gelatin that I've made. I've ate close to half of it the first night. I was really stoned till the other day. Like it's like pretty much a good 24 hours. I was like, I still feel it. And
My
once I've
mother-in-law
got
made a batch of
sober,
brownies.
as soon that I was sober from the first one, I've just eat the rest of it. Been like, dude, it worked really good. But then I realized, holy shit, there was a lot in it. I don't know what I've did that weekend, but I've eat it all.
My mother-in-law made a batch of brownies that got me high for 3 days. I couldn't. Oh my God.
But were you feeling bad the first night?
No, the first night I felt great. My eyes were like shut, like I felt good. Next day I felt great. The third day, my wife was like, "Do you want to smoke a bowl this morning?" I said, "Hell no." I said,
That's
because
when
I
it
was
hit.
finally, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I've had my fun with that too. I'm actually in college here because so in order to get the tier one outdoor cultivator license, I have to take a college course and earn a certificate. And that's what I'm in the process of doing now. I'm actually starting my second course on September 3rd. So yeah, so things are going well here. I'm trying to get a farm that's a craft farm. I just want to grow good grass for the people that need it.
So that registered college course?
Yep, it's registered. It gives me this cannabis certificate at the end, and then 12 college credits to hold on to as well.
So I don't know if you got it there too, but here, depending on your level of study that you have in your background, whatever it is, you may have access to a bigger loan to start a business or something about it. It depends on the project that you present. I know, like over here, if I had everything, we had access. I think it was up to 30,000, something like that, maybe. And since I did not had all the requirements for that, they were saying I could add access. I think was to 10,000 to start the project instead, because I needed more, maybe some requirements, some points, something. I don't know about it, but I just I regret a bit to not have access to it, because it would have helped a lot. Sometimes just 10,000, it may be to get a freaking tractor.
Right.
So
Need those things on the farm, man.
yeah, a tractor and maybe some attachment, or you rent it, or uh, one girl I know that she started when she rented a small farm to start her thing. She had a horse. I may not think about it, but a smaller farm, it doesn't worth to buy a tractor and all the attachment that you need for
Right.
a small place. And she said that a horse is really hard to first train for it, and you have to learn that when you're upset, the horse may not want to work like you wish for, because he feel that you're upset and he won't listen as much, and it may also don't want that day. So I was, holy crap, must be twice harder than what I was doing. I was just sitting on the attachment in the back of the tractor and doing my things. I did not even had to drive the tractor. At one point we had some kind of brush that you pass in the back, in between some vine, and to unweed everything, or it depends. There's different usage you can take with it, but we had that kind of attachment in the back, and you had to get one guy on each side having the kind of lever to maneuver that thing, and that was the most crappy job you can get when there was no wind, because you had all the dust in your face for all the row till the end of the row, and you were wishing that the tractor can get fast enough that you at least have the cloud going back. But one thing that was kind of cool is when we were doing it and it was really hot. The girl that was driving in the tractor was really good, and she was passing quite fast in some area, just so that we can have a bit of wine and being more but we had to drive it really faster in those rows, but she knew that we needed to have a bit of hair. So she was making us do like a couple roll really fast and have a break at the other end when the the cloud was just going away from us. So no, she was pretty smart, and she was able to stop pretty fast when there was something happen. Because I've did it with other driver, and it's not everyone that have the same reaction and kind of feeling to look behind or look on each side. Oh, maybe there's something that may happen there. I will look when I pass over there, and I don't know. But anyway, I had a really good coworker for that. But that kind of attachment, I was thinking at it like with my friend, that she was alone on that small farm, and she cannot drive it. You need to be three people. And the small farm that she had, she wasn't able to hire two people to do that and find them for a couple days. Because try to hire someone for a couple days, you're gonna have a lot of trouble to find those people for a couple days. For a couple week, maybe it could be more easy. But a day or two, nah, it's not. It's not that easy to find those people. And sometimes you find some people, but they are kind of weird people, and you may not want to hire them for a day or two. But yeah. Oh, the small farm is not easy to start. If you start a small farm, do you think at making any flower produce, or are you taking more extract or edible?
That's where I want to mainly produce is flour.
So you're gonna trim by hand everything?
Yep, yep. I'm gonna put my tender loving care right into it, man.
You're gonna hurt your hand, dude. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna hurt your hand. Be careful with that. Or maybe try to select really carefully the type of
Well, I
string.
have my wife to help me and some friends that will come over and help me. You know what I mean? So it's
But
not all bad.
that's a really big cost on your thing, the trimming. Because if you're making, let's see, if you have a machine that help you into that, you may reduce your quality of the final product, but you may cut your cost in five. Like it's 5 times quicker with those machines. And
Right.
instead of hiring 5 people that do that over the week, you're gonna do that in a day alone. So the thing with some of the machine is that you still need to unbuck it, or there's some machine that can do it dry. I don't know. It still knocks some stuff, and you cannot put every strain in it, because it just all look like when you take the Crayola round tip scissor and try to cut things. Everything is kind of weird shape. So it's exactly like those round nuggets that you see. It's all that, man. It's it just all the outside of the flower sometimes just look like every trichome have been knocked. Sometimes you're gonna see, but it's not only the trimmer like that. It's that they have a machine to sort the. Let's say you want a too small bud and a bigger bud and a eight. So you can enter that in the machine, and they will sort it all in the package, and have the label and the package coming out of the machine, and all the shake of that machine go into pre-roll by itself the other end of the machine. So that's one of the reasons why you see so many of those flower getting kind of having that shaving look around. So
I once bought a pre-roll that was packed so tightly that it wouldn't smoke. I paid $25 for it.
you have to re-roll it. But that's machine made a lot of the time, so that may be why.
Well, my farm is going to be really small because the tier 1 that I'm applying for is 1,000 square feet or 125 max. So
125 by square, like one. Oh,
well, you can either have 1,000 square feet of canopy or 125 plants, up to 125.
okay. Yeah, 125. So you can get them the size you want. It's 125.
Yeah,
and
I
no
was
limit to
thinking
that.
for the first couple years, I might run 50 or 60 plants just because I'm going to be my only employee for the first couple years.
Yeah, you don't want to get overwhelmed right away.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, let's say if you have a portion of your harvest that you just dump it, well, just cut it and let it dry and put it all into dry sift.
Could do that too. Could go that route too. Yep.
Because what you want to, let's say if you want to make some edible or stuff like that, you can always have different type of dry extraction. I've seen something quite well. I've seen the result of some people that they are using CO2 or nitrogen, and that's a kind of a tumbler that you can inject the nitrogen or the CO2, and you can process your fresh material in it. You freeze it before
Right.
and then you put it in that tumbler, and you tumble that thing, and then they recommend that if you start fresh that you still put it in a freeze dryer to be sure that you have a dry produce to work with. But I think
You can
that
also,
working, yeah.
yeah, you can, well, I guess it depends what you're doing, but you can do a dry ice method too, which is another easy way if you have a bubble bag set. Um, Tanasi and I did a really good episode on Dude Grows Show where we did like a live demonstration of how to do it. But basically, you get a bunch of flour that's like decently dry. You throw some dry ice in there, wait like 2 or 3 minutes, and then put that in your bubble bag. Give it a couple of good shakes on a glass table or some other clean surface that's smooth, and then take your card and swipe it up, and it works really good for that. As like a quick and dirty method.
You can always get those tabletop sifter, and
Yeah.
you can have different type of screen that you put in it, and you can have your dry ice in it. There's a guy I see do that and what but that kind of thing make a different grade of produce. But if you want to use it for rosin or edible, that's really a quick method to use. It's really efficient for a bigger load
For
of thing.
like $50 now, you can get a decent bubble bag set. So it's like,
Mm.
when I travel, a lot of times I'll buy a bunch of those like $40, $50 bubble dude bag, whatever's the sets on Amazon. and then I'll trade for them for like seeds or for like hash or for like,
Oh wow.
pipes or whatever, because people don't have them in a lot of parts of the more remote parts of the world that grow weed. So, and they know what they are. So when you bring them to them, it's like worth a lot of money, and you can take them through airports and no one gives a shit.
Right.
So you can
Oh,
bring like 5 or 6 of them and no one really cares at
uh,
customs. But when they have really good trade value. I've
when
gotten a
you
lot of
make
really cool stuff over the years that way.
if you make alcohol, those filters are still really fun to use.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
you can use them for all kinds of shit. I used them the
yeah.
other day. We did a sonication on a bunch of mushrooms, and then used it to strain. Used a 220 bag to strain all the sauce afterwards.
You were
Nice.
doing a big batch of party juice.
Yeah, we made like gallons and gallons of blue juice.
Nice.
Fun. Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, like I said before, I cannot take that kind
you
of thing
take it
anymore.
and
But that sounds like a really nice trip.
well, you take that and then you freeze. You put it in like shallow trays and you freeze dry it all, and then you can preserve
Oh,
it that way. So now you have a concentrate, and then you have to cut. You have to
yeah.
quickly use it. Like you have to stabilize, right? So you quickly cut it with a sugar, like honey or actual sugar and water at a really high rate, or you can uh, put it in uh, like a frosting or something else that's super high sugar content. Like we used to put it in frosting and make like mushroom brown or weed brownies with mushroom frosting on them. We call them galaxy brownies. It
Nice.
stabilizes really well on that. But or you can put it in honey, make blue honey. Or you can make meat out of it too, but you got to put it in at the end after the fermentation process, not beforehand. That's the part where we'll kind of fuck it up.
You have to add it after the fermentation. Okay.
Yeah, you make your mead and then you add it, blend it afterwards with the concentrate. It works much better. Yeah, good times.
I
Yeah.
guess
I was
so.
like about to pack up all my shit. My body's like, "Hey, can you do this thing for me real quick?" And I was like, "All right." So yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff you can do.
Well, gentlemen, I thank you for having me. It is 1:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah, man.
head out to bed, but I appreciate all of you. It was nice to meet you all.
Thanks for
Thanks,
Uh,
man.
coming, man.
I'll try to come back if you guys will have me. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
all right,
Right
gents.
on.
Good night.
Night.
All right, man. Have a good night. Yeah, I guess we won't see Canada tonight. Yeah, well,
You
maybe next week.
messaged me earlier. I thought he was
Yeah,
coming.
I don't know. I've talked with him
Maybe he's
yesterday.
working. I thought he was back in the village now.
He is. He is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was in a child park, whatever, with some stuff. Where when I talked to him, is it this morning or yesterday night? I don't know, but it was a morning where he was. Yes, it's yesterday night. But yeah, I don't know. We may see him next week, I guess. But I know that he was starting a bunch of new things and have new freak hybrid with Thai and other kind of stuff like that. Uh, he was talking the other day that he still had to start out from all the seeds that he had from that last project. And I seen a post of his wife. Like she had a big ball of what was looking like broken down bud that they took the seeds off of it, and instead of dry sifting that thing, she just took a big bag of it and rolled joint like because it's already crushed in a way. I would still smoke it, I guess too, but I was just finding it funny that like she had I don't know. I would have been a bit tired to smoke that one. Maybe I would have liked to smoke another one, but they had two full room and pretty good sized room of seeded weed. All I I don't remember what was the cross, but crap, man, they had so many good bud to crush into that I guess yeah they had a lot of stuff to wash and maybe just grabbed a bag aside, but Canada was showing the other day a nice bag of fresh frozen that they did and put in the freeze dryer. It was pretty nice batch, and they only had a part in it. I don't know how many seeds he bring back from it. I don't know when he gonna release it, but I guess he may release some of those seeds. I don't know. I will ask him when he come back. Uh,
The other crazy shit that happened this week was fucking Trump's people started a fight at Arlington National Cemetery with like a fucking official there. Like an actual fist fight, like an actual like altercation. And it was like, how are you gonna go to Arlington National Cemetery and start shit? Like what? Like I don't care if you like Trump or hate Trump. Like what the fuck? Come
was
on,
it
man.
like a a meet a kind of ceremony and remembering someone, whatever? What was the significance behind it? That's weird.
4 hours ago.
Oh, it just happened. That's strange.
Yeah,
But
here you go. Trump this is NPR, but Trump campaign staff had altercation with official at Arlington National Cemetery. Like again, like are they just day drinking too much or like what the fuck's going on? Like I'm trying to imagine how you get into an altercation with somebody.
yeah, that's not because the beer that you drink is light that you won't get lightheaded after a couple of them in the sun. Yeah. Man, what's with them? They were really already hated by all the last event. What
So
have triggered them?
apparently there was some staff member told them they weren't allowed to go through some pathway or some area or something, and then the Trump's people like shoved him out of the way and they got into like a skirmish. The guy's like 60 years old, just trying to do his job. What the fuck? We live in idiocracy, man. We live in idiocracy.
Yeah, watch out. It may be what's in the water, right? But at least it's not in the chemtrail. Um, there's something I've never understood with all this thing. There's all those theory about cloud seeding. We know about cloud seeding. Okay, that's one thing. But why they would like to release some chemical in the air when it's normal passenger plane that have it, that pass over you? Because I don't know. Like, cause let's see, we have
Only heard of
some.
them wanting to do it for like there
Mind
was an
control.
experiment for adding silver thiosulfide, if I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
correctly,
for the cloud seeding.
for the
Yeah.
Yeah,
cloud seeding.
that's the one they use in Dubai all the time to make it rain all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that thing is not like a conspiracy for that silver thing. But it's
China did
why.
it before the Olympics. They did the biggest, the last Olympics that was in China.
Mhm.
They did the biggest
Yeah, cloud
amount of
seeding
weather modification ever done in one
ever. Yeah.
time to like make the air clean for the Olympics as best they could. So they
Be
like
sure
made a
that
bunch
all
of
the
the rain
rain
before it shut down all the factories and shit.
and
then-
it settled the dust also.
Yeah. Dog cam.
Yeah, but that thing is not the most toxic thing that happened. But let's see. If I'm thinking at what will be the worst, do I think that the chemtrail will be a big thing? Because I don't really believe in chemtrails. I believe in cloud seeding because it's a freaking fact that they do that. But it's proven and whatever. But no, there's something about it that I find like
We
if you have to worry about something, it's what is in your water.
we had a really cool meeting today with Copyleft working on the AI project, and we got some a really cool collaborator that we're not announcing yet, but there's some like really cool shit coming down the pipeline that's gonna be like really fucking dope. And yeah, it's gonna be dope. There's gonna be a lot of like new data like in the cannabis field that's gonna come out because of this collaboration that we're doing now. And we're working with like really cool large data sets of really cool stuff that's going to be all open sourced and published and publicly available and all that stuff that yeah, this all the AI projects are making a lot of good things happen over there. And we got some really cool stuff that's going to help with the genetics side of stuff and making that all open source as well on a way that people are going to really enjoy, I think. So can't talk more about it yet, but there's some cool stuff cooking up.
Awesome. That's cool.
Did you still have some seeds on your website that you were talking the other day?
Yeah,
Think you
so
still had some?
I still have a Tyset genetics available, and I have the Heirloom Oklahoma McKernan County Gold, the large plants down from McKernan County up in the hills from Old Head. I got a bunch of seeds from, and we did a big open pollination with them, and I forgot I had like a pound of seeds, and I was going through my stuff and I was moving, and yeah, so they're from like 2012 or no 2021 or 2022.
Okay,
But
that's
they're
they're only
still
3 years.
fresh. Yeah, they're fresh still. I haven't had any duds on germination yet, so
Well, 3 years I will expect 95% around it, maybe 90.
yeah.
Well,
So
it should be close to
I
that.
just throw in a bunch of extra seeds for those ones. So if you get those, then I'll give you a 20 pack instead.
I think a
But,
pack of 20, around 20, for
yeah,
a regular,
but I have
it's a good sized pack because you may have like really 5, 6 really nice female in it. You know.
so now that we're getting all of our stuff sorted up here, but one of the first things I want to do is back cross and open pollinate the Zimbabwe seeds that I have, and get those out because I don't know of anybody that's done it. I think there's one release that I could find online of anyone from doing Zimbabwe seeds. So
The
I'm super
only
stoked.
thing I remember is Afropip have some of Zimbabwe back then, but
Yeah,
that's the
there's
only
only
thing I
like one or
remember
two
of.
companies that have ever gotten much genetics out of Zim. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
they're really not often.
yeah, so those are yeah, stuff that I'm excited about in terms of like unique shit to get out there. Um, and then I got some other cool stuff that I'm working on that I got my hands on. So I got a bunch of plain Jane old cherry bomb from Green Jeans. So
Yeah,
that's
cherry
I'm
bomb.
super stoked on that. I got a whole like list of shit that I want to pop right away once we get our stuff sorted out. So and then
Yeah,
and then we'll get 70% of the fucking market hype trash stuff that we have to grow just to be relevant,
One thing I've seen for all the African type of things, all different climate you got over there. Some people worry about how tall some strain can be. There's a lot of those African strain that have 12, 11, 12 week of flower, but it's still short and sturdy. And
Yeah,
some of
but
them
there
even
is a little
start to
more like,
flower really quick. Some of them start to flower quickly and just flower all summer.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. There was in Thailand, there was a lot of different types of stuff. There was a lot of stuff that was like really long. Like 3 separate times, I saw stuff that was like green spoon, like the pearls, like the chain of pearls for the calyxes, and the buds that are all like fluff the fuck out. And then a lot of stuff was just looked really good otherwise, but there was like, I don't know, 15% of it was like that fluffy, weird looking stuff in the hills, especially. I think that had to do with the heat stress too, not having like enough magnesium and silica and stuff to deal with it.
One thing I remember of some type of Thai that are not that often, they are kind of more closely budded, a bit like what people want now. You know what I mean? Like more long fingered nugget type. I don't know how to say that, but it's kind of narrow spare, but more densely packed than the strain you were talking about. And that's one of those stuff that Kut, when he was showing the Thai stick that he had, was a bit more similar to that than the looser structure. You know what I mean?
It was the coolest one I had over there that was like for blend racy or whatever was there was some really bomb stuff from Vietnam. This like black Vietnam plant that was like had like Thai bud structures, but it was like jet black, and that tasted like
And chunky, yeah.
crazy terps in that one. But I only had that one time.
The
And there was like
Vietnamese
a
black?
interesting like
Yeah.
Assamine and then like fruity, fluffy floral terps when I was in Laos. So we had to go to Laos for a couple days to go pick up some plants and then go visit somebody about seeds and stuff. So we the stuff there was much different than in Thailand. It was like a lot lighter in flavor and a lot more like I don't know, like more potpourri-ish kind of bang, like a bouquet of flower-ish kind of smell to it. More,
I just remember one time we had something from South Asia. I don't know exactly from where it was, but it had that kind of I don't know if I can describe it well. It had kind of a sour tart smell, like nothing sweet like a candy in it, but it had a kind of a incense and musky and cherry, or kind of there was some kind of exotic fruit, but like really behind it, they had that kind of I don't know how to explain it, but they had never had smelled something like that that wasn't with the sugary candy smell with it. That one was no sweetness, like all kind of incense, and I don't know, when you were rubbing the stem, it was like really sour stuff. If you were trying to bite the the small folial the small branch of the leaf, let's say, uh, you're having that really tart smell that
yeah,
tastes and like really astringent that you need to drink water after that. It's really not pleasant in the mouth, but it was transforming into a really nice flavor. But what I found
yeah.
funny
Thai
is
has
with
some super sours.
yeah.
And we did a big pheno hunt to get between the two of us on a whole bunch of sour genetics.
But man, I was smoking a small joint of it, and I was just really super awake. And it was like, I'm not sure if I'm really high. I gonna smoke another one. And I was awake all night long with two small, like maybe a half a gram by joint, less than that. And man, a gram of that, I've smoked it with my brother, and we were just awake all night long, and not we're used to smoke before we go to bed, you know. Let's say the Friday night, whatever. No, it wasn't working, man. But it was really enjoyable effect, but not something you smoke before you go to bed. But one that someone told me about, I think it was Ghana that he was talking about. He smoked something there that the guy have given him on the beach, and he saved it for at night, just at this, before he go to bed. And he said he was so freaking paranoid after smoking that thing. It was like the most paranoid effect that he had from, and he wasn't able to sleep all night long. It was really like, so he said, if you're smoking during the day, everything is good, man. It's just at night, it's kind of really weird and scary smoking that one. I found it always funny because when people talk about, oh, that thing is a sativa, it's supposed to be more energetic or whatever. I'm like, can you just give me the name of that strain? I'll go look at what is in that strain and what kind of a type of effect or type of variety it is. And most of the time, if you analyze quickly the pedigree, get really nothing to do with the tropical variety that would maybe be call
So
it
on that
sativa.
note, I was watching a thing, and he's going to be on my podcast next week. Kevin McKernan was talking on Hash Church about how they have microbiome data on their genomic sequences for their cannabis now in their database as of a few months ago. So there's like a bunch of people that have submitted data so far that also includes that, when they sequence everything, they now have that. So they're starting to be able to like look into, okay, well, which microbes are, is there microbes associated with different terp profiles, or, this, that, or
Or
the other.
respond to their genetic, yeah.
Yeah, to the genetics, because that was really where Phylos fucked up, right? Like if you don't have the cultivation data and the microbial species in the roots, you don't know how to get the right genetic expression, because it could have the genome sequence be correct, but if it's not turned on, you're not going to get those terps and the
That's what
potency,
we
right?
call
So
the
so I
phenotypic
thought that was
expression.
really cool. I thought that was super cool that they're doing that now, um, with their stuff. Yeah, he's going to be coming on the show next week talking about. So they went around and like looked at the sequencing of a bunch of different strains in shops, and also looked at potency, and just going to talk about lab shopping and like a bunch of the different stuff around aspergillus testing and cannabis and how it's fucked. He's talked about it before, but he's got a mega shit fuck ton of data now because he's got access to the state of Michigan's like entire database. So he went and parsed the whole thing for, okay, like let's actually look at the data and see what was relevant versus what wasn't. And there was a lot of like bullshit ass testing, failures and stuff like that. So we'll talk about it and talk about how, yeah, there is a lot of aspergillus genetics on the plants, but most of it's not aspergillus niger or any of the other ones that are actually toxic. It's none, ones that are just from grass particles in the air and pollen, grass pollen or whatever, it's floating through the air ducts or whatever. It's not actually toxic. And then how there's a ton of false positives as well, where there wasn't any, and the testing is faulty. Especially if you use Bacillus amphiquiliensis. If you use that, which is a really good organic way to biocontrol mold in your garden, right? Like it's perfectly legal and safe, but it can cause you false positives for aspergillus if you're doing it at a commercial scale. So like great for home scale, probably don't want to use it at commercial. But that's a big issue too, where you have these false positive microbes that are close enough to where it's fucking with the testing.
There is one thing that I was wondering a bit for, let's say, what all the also analysis. What are they testing for? What is really? Well, I don't know how to formulate that, but you
Like
know,
the
in human
species
we
versus
have
the
all the virus
like
have bring some
CFUs.
DNA, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah. So they test colony forming units, and then they sometimes will test for species if there's like a, if you test positive, then they'll go back and see if it's actually the ones that are bad or not. But it's kind of a there's better ways for them to do this. It'll cost the state and producers less money, and that's kind of like his whole point is that like there's better protocols for this that can make it safer to screen the stuff that's actually dangerous and not bother growers with stuff that isn't. You know what I mean?
yeah, because let's say if they recognize the something and it just kind of now part of what the plant DNA is. It makes sense like that, but anyway, and that's a worry I got like about how useful we can go with some of those data to understand the response of the plant and how useful it is, that response. And is it because of some of the virus, the bacteria that trigger a response to the plant like that? One thing we're studying for the bees was, can we select uh, for what we have for resistance to varroa, or can we just trigger the hypersensitive hygienic behavior? But that thing, when you select
Talking
too
about
much for it,
the
it's not good.
talking about the wing deformity virus.
It can cause that. It's in this area of thing that the varroa can cause and transmit. So that's the
Well,
same thing with the plant.
Aren't they treating that now with the mushroom metabolite?
Yeah, that Paul Stamata had something about some study, but I've not seen lately what have happened. But they were field testing it and having some kits about it. I tried to submit to it, but he already had all these people more close by. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know more about it, but it's for the general idea of this project was that it kind of improve the overall health of the bees. That was the result of that they had the first result that they had. I'm not sure if it's really that efficient for the parasite, but they were, if I remember, having a reduction in parasite, so it could be effective for a certain point. So I don't know for it, but for what I've had as my own experience with selection and all that, one of the experiment that they did, I think it's Ireland. Um, they start the project have last for the last 12, 15 years at least. So they've been able to start to do minimal treatment only on the strongest one that were already more resistant, and only I think one time or a couple time when they were like a small nucleus, or I remember exactly the protocol that they had for when they treated, but most of the of them were not treated at all, and they were only selecting for the healthy one and still trying to maintain a good honey production from those in the selection. And after 10 years, they started to be able to provide a good average and everything, and enough people contributing to that, that they were able to see that you can improve with genetic. It take 10 to 20 generation to be able to improve it if they already had some good trait for that. But it's really always a matter of dividing really often. The and like there's different method to that, but one of the things that I've learned from it is that if you really over select for only one trait, like the hygienic sensitive, it doesn't make better bees. And one of the theory behind it, if I remember, was to get some more stabilized for that trait and try to make hybrid with those that were having still a good honey production. But for my own experiment, one of the thing I had was that we've observed that one of the breeder here had made already some selection and things like that on this type of bees. But what he's seen on those bees is some of them were really aggressive, but were not bad for honey production, and they had lower varroa on some of them. So I started to identify some of my hive that were like that, and I've discovered that they had lower consumption of honey during the winter, but they were having a bit more that trait to if they got a weaker hive around, they will go rob it more than other of the queens,
Two
let's say.
bees.
Yeah, so they were a bit rubber one, but they were really, really good overall. And they were not always super intensely aggressive, but they were like the crazy one in the pack. So I made my selection with taking the eggs from that hive and pollinating, let's say, taking the male from another hive and isolating it another location and read that, and there's many attack by bears, and so uh, a lot have happened, but I've been able to preserve it, and I've observed that thing was kind of the trait of aggressivity. It's kind of tame at one point. Some of them still show it, but the other trait are maintain it. So when all your mix happen, you may think that it's really unfazed on that, but the other trait you're selecting for may be those that stay overall in your like the majority of your population. So I still have once in a while those really crazy aggressive ones that some of them are really good for everything. Besides, they are really annoying to work with. Because I was talking with a lot of beekeepers saying that were hating to work with those aggressive bees. So I started to trying to understand is some of them are too aggressive to the point that they are no longer enough productive, like the same way that the hypersensitive one. And it's yes, you just need to avoid them and put your selection on those that still do everything good, let's say. So I don't know, man. When we think that we want to emphasize one major trait, you may want to revise your note after 10 years and realize that it's all the good trait that have been stabilized instead of just that trait. At least for me, I wasn't selecting for aggressivity by itself. I've just observed that some of them were good for the thing than being really annoying to work with. But, that's one thing that I've found with, let's say, the parasite things is some variety may be really weak indoor around against variety. I don't know if you've seen some variety like that, and you put them outdoor in the right environment, and there is nothing that attack them. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that kind of thing, but the other day I was looking at the resistance to all the insect and man, there is not enough selection made on it. People back then had the spider mite. Uh, there is, let's
Yeah,
say,
the Eagle
threads.
20 back then. Stop
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, right. No, but there were still some people saying like, if you grow a skunk, I remember reading something about what Neville was saying, like if you had a greenhouse with some plant of skunk in it, they were the first one to get the spider mite. So he was putting a couple of skunk plant in each greenhouse so that if there's spider mite, they go on them and he get rid of it. I was finding it quite funny because he was not hating the skunk, but he was just like, "Holy crap, that's a canary in the mine." And when I went and at one point read it about what Dave Watson was had to say about it. He said that he never had problem with spider mite back then in California when he was working that strain. And when he bring it in Amsterdam, like a decade after, he said that it was like the big trouble there. Like there's so much greenhouse cultivation that there's always some spider mite alive over there. So that's when like the big thing I've started. I don't know of any strain that were really that much resistant, but I remember some of them were having some spider mite on them and were still growing fine. And other stuff, if you got spider mite, the plant will just die in a few weeks if you do nothing. Oh man, I remember a couple picture that people were taking that they're like, I don't know what happened on my leaf. They're all spotted white, and you were having a close up of it, and you were seeing all the webbing between the leaf. Disgusting. I don't know if there's really a variety that's that much resistant to insect that is breed right now, but for the people that grow field production, you might have some of them that think at it. Yeah. I don't know about it. I've just not read anything lately about that, but yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So next week, I guess we're gonna be able to get a couple of other funny news like that. I think I've had to save two, three other.
Nice.
Yeah. And if Canada come next week, I hope that you'll be able to find us a couple of funny story. I will ask him if he got anything in the Thai journal or news that he could find there, because there's surely a
Oh,
couple.
there's if you want to know about Thai news, especially like wacky, goofy, funny stuff, there's the Tiger News on YouTube. Hold on, I can pull it up.
Yeah, I want
It
to see
like
that kind of
goes
news.
up around this time of day too. Hold on, I'll find it. Here it is, the Tiger. This is who you wanna. There you go.
The tiger. All thing Thailand. So you got all of the worst from there, because man, they have some
No,
really funny
they
news
cover like
sometimes.
news, but they cover wackier stories too. Like if there's something funny or entertaining, like they'll cover it. These guys are pretty cool. They helped put on a big weed event that I was at too.
They like a good laugh. That's cool. That yeah. I always enjoy the that kind of story from any type of country, whatever, any country. It's there's always something to laugh about it. Uh, and I've seen some stuff on YouTube lately that I was like, I guess I should. I don't know what I've searched for starting to have that kind of thing, but all the people that get have a kind of mental breakdown, like that movie that the guy just start to be nuts in the middle of the traffic and have all that epic story, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it make me think at that movie when some of those events, and I'm like, dude, why you turning that nuts? Like you were going to work or coming back from work like a normal day and total breakdown today.
Yeah, they have like stories about the mermaid chicks in Phuket and like just all kinds of crazy stories and stuff. I'm
That
just
sounds
sorted
fun.
by the python slithers into Thailand's emerald pool,
Oh shit, I would freak
like
out in a pool.
all kinds of fights, all kinds of different like crazy shit. There's always some story about some like German or Austrian dude or Swiss dude or something like taking too many drugs and just like jumping off a balcony or doing some crazy shit.
Yeah, that story of that tour boat sinking. I mean, oh shit. And I guess they have no uh, safety boat. Holy crap. And uh, I follow a guy on YouTube, Vaisha in the Hay. He do some really good action to help people in remote Russia. And some of the story, I just cannot watch that thing. He got the weirdest thing from really like you want to cry for them, or other you're just like, what the hell they're doing? But there is absolutely no service where they are. They're really remote, small village sometimes. I don't know, man. One story, you buy a car for the guy and help him to get a job, and the guy, everything work out. Sometimes there's the saddest story ever, but it's kind of a bit annoying because there's all the subtitle for when you talk with people, but he talk in English at the beginning and the end of the video at least to explain, kind of brief on it. So now that's Vesha and the Hay. That I don't know how. I guess I need to. I'll give the link here. Um, Need to search into a 100 link. Holy crap! Sorry, I'll try to type it instead. Okay. Uh, That that's the channel I'm talking about. He's really going in a back Russian country. Um, yeah, you get the word of story like that woman that it's suddenly born with a really deformed face, unknown syndrome in Russia.
Like a Navi from
That other guy here that was his mom have locked him in the garage for 10 years. They found him, the guy was laying in the bed and all that thing, like, oh man, that was the saddest
Feral.
story.
Yeah, he's feral. Like not developed.
Yeah, 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 kind of guy. Yeah. But like that kid that he helped, those two sister, yeah, man, there is a lot. The weirdest story in it. I cannot tell too much because there's different type of story that he cover. But yeah, it's real poor people that need help in those places. I think he gets a lot of help from the viewer with donation and stuff like that, but he's not paid by his government. But he kind of help. Let's say when you have to talk with the police to ease a situation or things like that, and sometimes he help in the investigation and stuff that have happened because he was helping the girl and the two sisters were saying, and he was helping a boy, and they kind of he matched together or whatever, but the guy have end up being killed. So in a really strange situation, but yeah. So that's real life stuff that a bit more like when you want to shed a tear. So yeah. Anyway, so I guess we'll go on it before Wes go to sleep.
Yeah, man. It's fading.
All right. Have a good night,
All
guys.
right. All right. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Cheers.